Now, this is not the same as paint, obviously, but there you go. It's pretty damn straight. Well, hey, Cookster here, and I'm back. Sorry I've been gone all summer. I got burnt out on working out here. The YouTube thing, I got burnt out. I had to just take some time away, so I have been doing work behind the scenes on the truck, and I even done some of my Model A, which I got film or footage of that as well. I just had to take some time off. I've been working a lot of hours, you know, my real job. I got a part-time job on top of that, and then I'm trying to do this and the YouTube thing. It takes a lot of time, and I just got burnt out. So those of you that were missing me, you know, I'm sorry. I apologize for being gone so long without saying anything. But anyway, I'm back now, trying to get some more work done on the 69 C10. I got the Model A. I want to get some work done this fall, this winter, this spring if I can. So I'll try to do a much better job of getting back to posting again. I got kind of discouraged on the whole YouTube thing. I don't know, it didn't grow as much as I thought it would, as fast as I would. And that's probably my fault for just expecting too much. So I'm not going to sit here and try to, you know, moan and groan and complain, because, you know, that's not me. But here we are. I have blocked the door and the fender on the driver's side, long blocked. This is all straight. I had to recut and reshape the cowl panel on both sides to get them to fit. This cowl panel was always too wide, and the hood gap was always really tight back in the corners. So I spent a lot of time re-gapping the hood on both sides of the hood. I cut and re-welded and re-gapped the cowl panel up here. I didn't want to do all that, but once I kind of got into it, I kind of pretty much had to. That or live with bad gaps, and you know, I didn't want to do that. So I spent a lot of hours that's one reason I got burnt out. I kept doing the same stuff over and over and over, cutting and welding and gapping it. I got sick of it. I just got tired of it, and it got hot. I'm in the southeast, so it gets 90 degrees, 95 degrees, 90% humidity. That's miserable. The older I get, the less I like doing it in the heat. So it's the middle of October now. A lot of the footage I shot was back in the summer, so I'm still wearing my tank tops. You can see I'm wearing a t-shirt now. By the way, smart me wearing a black t-shirt to do body work in, but hey, it's what I had. But anyway, so the footage I shot was last summer. A lot of it blocking the doors and the fenders, cutting the cowl up. I worked on the hood, did all that stuff, and now I'm pretty much done. The last thing to do, and I got some more priming to do, but really the place I'm at now is I'm ready to get the front end off, get the cab off. I want to sandblast the bottom of the cab. I do need to do the cab rear corner still, so I'll probably do that next. I got to pull the bed off so I can get to that. So all that's upcoming in the next few weeks. I've also got Model A work I want to do, and I've got a lot of footage I shot of that too last summer. So hopefully there'll be some more videos coming out on the regular here pretty soon. And anyway, I just wanted to give an intro and say, hey, I'm back. Sorry I was away so long. But let's work on the C10, so let's get into the video. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm going to block this door fender gap situation with 180. And we'll see what we get. It should be in pretty good shape, unlike the other side where I didn't wipe across the gaps originally. This one I went ahead and blocked and wiped across the gaps and wiped across the bottom down here. So this should block up real quick. Well, should block up quicker than the other side did. So here's our first initial cut. You can see it's we're already cutting the guide coat off here. I haven't really blocked much back here yet. Starting to cut into it here, and then the bottom you can see a little low right there, but I haven't blocked that much yet. So we're already in really good shape. So I'm just going to let the camera run, go ahead and block it down, and let you watch it. look really good all in through here. I had a little low spot right here I worked out. Still got a little low spot right here in the guide coat. I think my fender may still be in just a fraction, because I cut my primer down here pretty quick. It's not high, but I cut down really quick when I was blocking across the gap. So I'm going to add one more 1/64 of shim right here before I finish blocking. I got a little low spot right here. I am going to put a little filler in, a little putty. It's very minute, but it is there. It's definitely a little low ripple. These spots that I cut high, they're not high, they're just where I cut the primer down. This spot that I had to block into still feels like it might be a smidge low. So I might put a small dab of putty in there. I haven't blocked the bottom yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put a shim up here first. So let me get a ratchet, shim and make that adjustment right quick. Alright, little guide coat, let's see what we get. I don't want to overdo it here, just want to see what we get across this gap. That is high. I did push it out a little bit too far. See, I cut this primer off at the front, and I'm not happy about that, so I want to stop before I cut any more of it off. And if I don't like the way it blocks with this shim on there, I'll take it back out next time around. But it should do okay, honestly. A little bit more. Alright, let's block the bottom. Alright, we feel really good down here. There is a little spot on the door. When I was reworking the front edge of the door here, which you can't see because I got it wiped over at the moment. I pulled the front of the door out and it put a little. I pulled the front of the door out and it put a little dimple, a little horseshoe low spot. Kind of hard to explain. In other words, it was straight. I pulled it out, so that put a little bit of a low spot. It's not bad, but it is there. And it's right at the very bottom edge of the door. Kind of hard to get to at the moment. So when I get the door off again for tear down, I'll fix this little spot off the truck. But the rest of the gap, everything right here looks good. There is one again, but there is again one little low spot right here that I don't like. So I am going to put a little bit of putty right there. So let me block on that a little more. Let me finish working the body crease line. I did everything but the actual crease itself right here. Let me hit that. Now I'm just using the very edge of my long block. Now just blocking the primer, I can use the edge of my block. And it'll block right across it. Now there's probably other techniques for doing that. Some of you guys are probably going to tell me this is wrong, but it's, again, it's how I do it. and it works for me. There's more than one way to do this, and most of them are okay. There's a few wrong ones, for sure. That's coming out real good. I like that. If you remember, these doors were blocked with 320 way back when I rebuilt them. So the whole middle section here doesn't need blocking. I'm just going over it just to put some tooth into it. And then of course I gotta work on the back edge when I put do the rear of the cab, but that's a different day. So this is done. I like this. I got to put a little putty in one spot there and one spot here that I'm about to lose. There it is. I can find it. So I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to block the fender. I got to block the entire fender. I'll do that off camera. I'll probably fix the put the putty in it off camera. I might show priming it. We'll see. I'm going to dust it with guide coat again. And this time I'm going to block it with 320. And I hope, fingers crossed, this is the last straightening blocking that I call it. In other words, this is the last blocking I hope to get it straight. It's already straight. I'm just doing a 320 block now to make sure the sand scratches and all that stuff. Because that's how you want to do it. You want to go from like 36 and 80 on your filler work, bare filler. Then prime it and block it with 180 and get all that good and straight, and then go up to 320. At least that's how I do it. Make sure all your sand scratches are out, everything. Anyway, so this is my blocking with 320. I hope the only straightening blocking I have to do, or the last one. I will block everything one more time, the whole truck, before I prime or before I paint it. And that's the way down the road. That's just a final blocking to make me feel better, just to make damn sure I haven't missed anything. But this should be the last straightening. So I'm gonna wipe it with guide coat and we'll start blocking again. Yeehaw. So you can see there's just a little bit low here, and if you remember previously, I moved the fender out 1/64th of an inch. That's a 64th, and that got this here pretty much in plane. You can see how we're pretty even here, and it made this area down here be a little bit high. I already blocked it. I think it'll block down, and I primed this very heavy. When I primed it, I think I put three good coats of primer on. So I'm hoping that will block on down and even out. So but we're already very close, so let's just keep blocking. I'm doing my best not to cut through this primer again. I don't want to cut through it again, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I got the upper half of the door blocked. There's one tiny little low spot right here. Not sure how I missed it before. It's possible I dug into it with my block on my last blocking session. But it's definitely there, and it's definitely low, and I definitely need to fix it. That's a lot of definitely. Alright, let's block the bottom of the door, see what we get. Alright, the door bottom is in really good shape. I found no problem, no issues, so it's done. The bottom is done. There is one little, like I said, one little low spot here in the edge of the door that somehow I missed before, and I may have actually sanded it a little low with the block. That's why you block sand, to fix stuff like this. I did cut through the primer again a little more than I wanted to here, so I'm going to reprime this section right here. Lightly block it one more time with 320, and then that'll be it. I'll prime the whole side. Then I'll call the repair done. The blocking, straightening, all that done. I do have to block the rest of the fender. I'll do that off camera. You've seen that before. One thing I do want to show, I still have this gap down here filled over with body filler. I'm going to cut the gap out and sand the edges and get them cleaned up before I take it apart. Obviously I can't take it apart like this, so I will show cutting this apart and dressing up these edges. I realize this isn't the best camera angle, but I think you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm gonna cut this apart with this air saw, little inline, what do you call it, reciprocating saw. If you don't have one of these, or if you're kind of scared of it, you could do it with a hacksaw blade. You can do it with a knife, but you got to be extra careful to cut right down the center of that gap. With a knife, that could be a little bit risky. So I'd probably recommend doing it with a hacksaw blade, or like I said, if you got one of these, use one of these. You can also use a die grinder. Again, you got to be real careful. I've done it in the past with a die grinder when I didn't have one of these. You gotta be real careful not to get off the groove or off the gap. You'll cut your door edges. So anyway, I'm gonna do it with this. So we just gotta be real careful and take our time, not get in a hurry. I'm not going to do a whole seam all at once. I'm going to do it a little bit at a time so I don't miss my gap or something. So now that I got that started, take my handy dandy old school blocking stick, painter's paint paddle. And in this case, I'm going to start with 80. So I got some sticky that I use on my blocks. Just wrap it around the paint paddle in one turn. Don't make multiple turns; it won't fit. And just start going there and working both edges with the 80 grit first to get them cleaned up. It can be a little bit frustrating when you first start out, but once you kind of get going, get it cleaned up some, it gets easier. That's why I like to use 80, because it cuts so much better. Like 180 would take a lot longer to do this. Again, if you're scared of it, or whatever, still learning, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. since I know my damn fenders are straight, I'm gonna sand hard against the edge till I hit bare metal and I know I'm done. If I was building the edge with filler, I couldn't do that, which we're not doing here. Naughty, naughty, bad, bad. Alright, so this is really fighting me and it's starting to piss me off here. I'm not sure why it's being such a pain in the ass to sand. Yeah, let me stop before I get mad. So you seen the basic idea. You know what's going on here. And I nicked my damn filler with my freaking. I nicked my filler with that damn saw blade, so I got to go back and fix that now. Which, oh well. So anyway, we're done. I'm going to prime this up here and block it, and it's done. All right, I have final blocked the door and the fender across the gaps. I finally got my bottom gap cut apart. I struggled with that some, not the cutting part, the sanding it. I finally switched to 180 on my little blocking stick, and it fit in there better than the 80 was too thick. So I got a little aggravated. But anyway, I got that done. I will, as I said, when I get the panels back apart. Right now, my corners are squared. You know if you can see that. That's a 90-degree corner. And it looks thicker than it really is because that's a 90-degree corner. The corner rolls over here, so when I take the doors and the fenders back off, I'll be able to get in here and block and round that corner back over, and then it won't be thick like that anymore. Right now it looks thick, but it's not. It's just, you got a round corner. Picture a round corner, and then a 90-degree coming off of it. It adds thickness right here where it's rounded over. So anyway, I've got it final blocked. You notice I was very careful not to cut through anymore. That's the way you want to do it. That's the way I like to do it. I mean, I cut up through in a couple small places, but nothing major. Not like I was doing before, where I was blocking pretty heavy. The front of the fender is done now. As I said before, I've got to make repairs down here. Probably gonna have to make a patch for that. I got a dent right there. I got a pretty major dent that's part of this I got to fix. So, but I'll be doing all that later when I get the fender back off the truck. But the fender itself, the gap especially, everything up top and all the dents here, this is all done. Now honestly, I'll still have to put my rear cab corners in down here, and then when I do that, I'll adjust my gaps here at the rear. They're still off, and I'll fix that when I get to that point. I will block the entire truck one more time when I get it back into pieces before I paint it, just to make sure I haven't missed a sand scratch or a pinhole or something. That's just how I like to do it. It's an extra step, probably really not necessary. In a production shop, you wouldn't do that because you don't have time or the money to spend, on more and more priming. Your body shop manager would frown on that. But me, here at home, of course, trying to do a high-end, quote-unquote, high-end paint job, that's just how I like to do it. But anyway, I'm going to set up, I will film the priming right quick. I want to try to show you the panels down the side when they're wet. You can't see them right now because they're not wet, obviously. But they are nice and straight. I mean, they're not perfect. Again, I don't like using that word, but they are nice and straight. So let me get the primer mixed up, and I'll cut the camera on and shoot the primer, and then we'll come back and end this video. Now, this is not the same as paint, obviously, but there you go. It's pretty damn straight. I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. I can't wait. Whoop. I can't wait one day to get paint on this thing. Alright, that's it. I'm so happy to have this done. Been a lot of work, a lot of time. I want to check my hood gap one last time. I know right now my hood gap is back here on the corners is too tight. So I want to double check my hood gap with that, and then while I'm at it, my upper cowl panel still has some fitment issues back here on the doors. It's probably going to involve cutting a few things and moving some pieces around on the cowl, upper cowl, which I don't want to do, but if I have to do it to make it fit right, I'll do it. So again, all that work has to be done again before I blow all the cab back apart. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, and whether I'll film that or not, my C10 videos get a pretty good bit of views, so I probably will go ahead and film that, let you guys see what I'm doing. That's the only thing on my channel right now really getting views. My Model A videos are getting nothing. My Ford videos, I haven't posted anything on my Ford in over a year now, so you know. My metalwork videos and my C10 videos are what's getting views, so I'm trying to stick with that, and it's what I'm working on. Now I do have the Model A. I am doing things to the Model A behind the scenes. I got electrolysis running on parts for the Model A, so at some point I will be doing actual metal work on the Model A, and I'm hoping people will start to watching that, and that'll bring some people in. But anyway, on the C10, as I said, I want to get the hood gap checked, the upper cowl panel gap fixed, corrected, whatever. And once that is done, I can blow everything apart. I want to pull the cab off, as I said, and sandblast it. And once I get that far, I'm this close, this close to painting this thing. Now I don't know when that's going to be. It won't be this year. I'm certain it won't be this year. I just got too much else going on. But I'd love to get this cab off, as I said, sandblasted, get the bottom fixed up, ready to paint. I'll be power washing the frame and cleaning it, and I'm not going to sandblast the frame, and I'm not going to take it that far. This is not a restoration, quote unquote. It's just fixing up my dad's truck. I'll just put it that way. So all I'm going to do to the frame is just wash it up, clean it up. I might put a coat of paint on it, and I might not. It just depends. But anyway, that's it for now. Enough yapping. So I hope this wasn't a long, boring video. I don't know yet. I haven't edited it yet, obviously. I was trying to show you how I blocked this panel and how good it turned out. So anyhow, I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope it was interesting to you and it didn't bore you to death. I know the block sanding stuff can get boring, but it's got to be done. And I'm an old body man, so that's what I do. I mean, I know how to do it. So anyhow. But once again, thanks for being here. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Cookster's Garage. Be sure to do all the YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Share it around with your buddies, your enemies, ex-wives, girlfriends, all that good stuff. So anyway, I'll catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now. You hear? Happy something. Bye.